All right. It's 11 o'clock on a Friday. Let's do this. Let's hit the books, part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips. I am merely Brad Powers. Before we get to all your questions and comments on the remaining bowl games that we have here for the next few days, before we talk some playoffs, before we recap some best bets, let me remind everybody that Hit the Books is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We'd recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sportsbook for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks, or you can hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it does help support the show. Knish, did you have a good Christmas and a good week of bull betting, man?
Yeah, you know what? We the bowl bets have actually been going pretty well. Nice little Christmas with the fam, and I was out in rural Indiana on Christmas Day, and in Powers country there, seeing the girlfriend's family. So, hey, it was a pretty good week so far. How about yourself? You didn't go back to you stayed in town, right? No Ohio for Christmas.
I stayed in town, man. I had family in town, but unfortunately, man, I got super sick, probably the sickest I've been in years. So that was unfortunate. But bets. We had a good day the other day, especially probably one of my better days of the entire year. So I was happy with that. I really needed NC State last night. It didn't come through for us, obviously. Really, was
I feel like it was. I don't want to be I feel like they were the right size, especially, at 2.5. It was one of those that I would make that if they played again today and you gave me, 3, I'd take NC State again.
I would too. Man,
just one of those.
They haven't been able to win those coin flip games, man. And that was kind of a coin flip result on whether or not they would have covered. They're just story of the season. But with that being said, I don't want to be too negative because we are having, prior to that result, we were we're still having a really good bowl season. We're 6-1 heading into that game. So, we've been doing what we should be doing, and that's cashing some tickets for the guys that are listening and watching, getting in front of some big line moves, to say the least. Rutgers was a really nice win for us, got in front of a 6-point move there yesterday. USC outright, we had them at 7.5. Market agreed with us there. That was a crazy move late as far as the BC total yesterday. I couldn't believe people were betting the over with that shitty weather. We had the under. And we didn't have to, that was easy. Who would have thought bad weather in late December in Boston on an outdoor arena on a shitty playing surface. So I think we're doing a good job. I am the most self-deprecating man in gambling Twitter, but I think we're doing a good job so far, you and me, here on the show as far as bull bets.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? And it's finally, I appreciate the people that have stuck with us. Obviously, we talk a lot of CLV on here, and for the regular season, didn't see a lot of payoff for the bowl season, which wouldn't were the most high variance, games of the year, and it has paid off in a lot of outright winners. So, hopefully, can keep it rolling here into the day. But no, I think, a lot of these, as you said, Oklahoma State, USC, Rutgers, those are all the dead nuts right side, right side of the move, right side of the game, too, in terms of how they played out. So hopefully can keep it rolling into a new year.
Yeah, let's hope that's the case. I'm looking forward to it. But obviously, we still got some games left. I know maybe some more bets to hopefully cash as we wind out this bowl season. Let's just get right to the comments and chat here because we got a game kicking off in less than an hour. Fabulous one. At what point, if any, does Florida State become a take plus 21 or greater? Florida State's not a take for me. Too many opt-outs. If you had to bet it, under for me. If you had to bet derivative, I kind of don't mind Florida State team total under. But that's how I'd attack that game, under, and Florida State team total under. What say you?
Yeah, that was one of our early plays. I think that was our favorite. Was the under on this game. I think you might. The worry now might be, does Georgia score?
They win 45-0.
Yeah, 42-7, 42-3. So that would be the concern there. You've got we talked about it on Monday show of you can go about this two ways. And Florida State, you could either say you're going to try and go all out with everybody and claim a national championship undefeated, or everybody can opt out and you probably don't care about the game. And now you're facing what was probably the best team in the country, who has most of their guys, seemingly Kirby, firing them up. So yeah, there's no, I don't know, by number, maybe like 42 live, 35 live when they're down, So yeah, if you haven't gotten Georgia yet, I would just stay away here.
L in the chat. Wow, we will get to all these. Can we go through the remaining bowl games at the current spreads, please? Yes, we will touch on every bowl game at the current spreads and let you know. I'm not going to run them all down in rapid fire in 2 minutes, but we will get to all of them in today's show. And keep in mind, we also have another show before all the Monday games. We are going to be going live at 11 a.m. Eastern on Monday prior to the New Year's Day games, and obviously we got 5 of them on that day. But we will hit on all the bowl games at the current spreads. I promise you. Charles, NFL question here. Charles in the chat, Lions Cowboys, really big NFL game tomorrow. Joey K and Pizzola have a bet. Are you going to be doing a live show there?
I think, you know what? So we're planning to jump on live. The only is there's a chance was going to go to the Pistons game for the all-time record. Actually,
are you serious?
Which is tomorrow night. So I might try and double dip because the game starts at 6. Was going to go with a buddy to witness history, but maybe leave early there and get. But I'm planning to be on the live show for tomorrow night, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that should be honestly.
Is there a lot of people expecting to go to that? They're gonna sell out. I mean, the arena for that one.
A little bit, pricier than your standard Pistons game. So and there's a lot of Toronto, fandom in this area. So people coming down for the game. So yeah, it could be a lifetime event there. As far as the Lions Cowboys game, I'm going to be honest with you. It'll be fun to have some trash talk back and forth with Rob. The stakes were kind of like we kind of won the NFC North. Right now, you're kind of trying to stay healthy. They real outside shot at the 1 seed, but a lot of the I don't know. I call it the sauce in this game is kind of win. It's kind of a Lions game where you mostly kind of want to get through it. So obviously, it'd be nice to go into Dallas and beat Dallas, but mostly want to stay healthy and get ready for the playoff run.
Yeah, I think Price says Lions, Spot says Cowboys.
Agreed.
So I didn't bet that game. RW Fan 23 is Ole Miss a buy at +5. I think it might be for Knish. It's not for me yet. Where are you at there?
I guess I've taken a couple bad numbers on this game in the thought process that Penn State would have. I've talked about it a bit. More opt-outs than they actually did. Still think there's a Westgate one trading a 6 out there.
Yeah.
Does Joey K really want to triple dip on Lane in a bowl game? Not really. So I'm gonna need if you don't have any position so far. I wouldn't mind waiting and getting see if you can get a 6 here. So that would be my opinion. Lean is actually 4, so I don't know if we'll get there. But and Circa's at a flat 5. But honestly, I would still if I didn't have any position, I'd still play Ole Miss smaller.
I lean over in the game if you had to play current numbers, at least for me. Grant, Clemson down to 3.5. Is that a best bet? What do you say?
I'm
Clemson, but if you want to rubber stamp it, you're the star of the show. Clemson -3.5.
I was going to see if we got a flat 3 before the show started because there was even a little bit more.
There was. Circa had it for about 5 minutes.
Yes, and just teasers went to 3, and now there's some juice 3.5. So I think is there enough 3s to give out the 3 here? Because to be honest with you, I'm probably going to bet one of these.
Let's wait throughout the show.
Okay, yeah. If we come back to it and it's there, we'll take it. But just for if you're watching the show and you've got access to one of those 3s, I'm going to bet a flat 3. So yeah, that's what I was waiting for, and now we're seeing a couple, so I'm going to bet one.
Fabulous one in the chat, chasing steam today. Ooh, I don't know if that's going to work out for you. It hasn't worked out getting in front of the steam, let alone chasing it so far this bowl season. Kentucky, Oregon State, Iowa State, Ohio State. What would you be your order of preference? I think for us, Oregon State would probably be the number 1. That's the best bet for us today. Kentucky, no, we're on the Clemson side there. Iowa State to me is too expensive, although I do not like Silverfield at Memphis. Ohio State, I like the Buckeyes. Buckeyes are my favorite play personally today.
I agree with the that like at current, Oregon State, it's still at a 6 would be the only one of those I'd really like. Obviously, Clemson we just talked about with the 3. Iowa State, I agree. The price has gotten, to be honest with you, I mean, gun to my head, if I had to play it at 10.5, I think I might even play Memphis there. But and the
Agreed.
other side of it, I see the move back for Ohio State. I think this is a bit aggressive.
All right, you want to go head to head?
Yeah, we want to go. What do we want to call it? Head to head at
Five?
Yeah, let's go head to head on that. I could see it to 3 at 3.5. Now the 5.5. Too much respect for me. So yeah, we'll go head to head on that one.
Love it. Action. Like it. Head to head. We haven't had too much head to head bowl season.
I know, right? I don't have much head to head.
No, we haven't. It makes sense. I mean, come on. A lot of this stuff's relatively, not to downplay what we do, but I think relatively speaking, this is easy handicap. It's all news related for the most part. All right, good. Extra motivation. Go Buckeyes. I need that one bad. I'm telling you, that's the most important result of the season for me so far. D-Lee 23 in the chat. Can we really lay double digits in these games? Memphis above 10 feels like a must bet. I don't know if it's a must bet, but
yeah,
I got to tell you, I bet Iowa State a long time ago in a galaxy far away, but 10.5, I'd lean Memphis. And again, I do not like Silverfield, but 10.5 is expensive.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't call it a must bet. But yeah, if you gave, you're in a bowl pool or one of those, I could only do like I'd play the number on the 10.5. Even though there's not a lot to, as we said, like with the Memphis team in general. It's an Iowa State team that, came on throughout the year, but in terms of like if you're comparing these two rosters, it's a big number.
Kyle in the chat. Oof. I'm excited to see where this one's going to move this weekend. And as we also do the Monday show, Alabama +3 -125. I'm hearing Michigan money is going to show, but I'm also anticipating the public's going to want to bet Alabama. So what are you hearing, man? You're closer to Michigan.
You know what? I have gotten those exact sentiments where I think there's some sharp move on Michigan. But I think as you agree, I mean, and this is the type of game, depending on where you bet or if you have access to, that some of the public handle will have an actual like limit where there'll be so much. You hear about way too much of that. Oh, public splits on like a Wizards Nets game. Like, oh, but that doesn't matter. In one of these games where books are going to be taking 7 figures of risk on it, you might get an extra half point or some decent juice depending on where you shop on it. So I might wait on that to see if you could get a little cheaper Bama at the 3. I don't think like 3s probably won't last, but you might be able to find a 3 115 120 or one of that. So
agree.
Yeah, maybe let that marinate a little bit. But we'll see. I don't have the utmost confidence in that prediction, but we'll see.
This is one where this is in the weeds a little bit, but if you're in Vegas, just so happen to be in Vegas, where I'm expecting probably if you want to bet Michigan at a place like Stations. Very local public place that caters to the very much public bettors. You'll probably get the cheapest price on Michigan. If you are at a sharper book, maybe bigger limits, I think you get a better price on Alabama. To be determined there. I respect the guys that I've been talking to that like Michigan. Look, I like Harbaugh. I like you. I mean, Michigan guy. I'm on Alabama. I'm square as hell, man. I'm square on this game. I think it's Alabama. I really do, man.
You know what? I'm having a hard time, and this is not like being nihilist or any of that. With that, it's a Michigan team that just couldn't protect the passer in games that against elite opponents with elite edge guys who Bama has.
Yeah. They have the corners to lock down their wide receivers.
Right. So it's like, are you going to be able to line up and run the ball on a Saban defense, all game? And that worked against Penn State. It worked for the most part against, Ohio State. I don't know if it works here. So I like the under though. In terms of actual size, I still, look, there's some flat 45s out there. I'd still play under at that number.
Your boy Tent's telling me about these pulling guards that Alabama struggles with. Zintner is out.
I mean, the interior of the line is still elite. It's the tackle position that Michigan has had problems with all year. Even in the run blocking, not as much. But I don't. Are you going to be able to just line up and man ball your way all over them? I don't know. It seems.
Is Corum and Edwards going to finally break out? I mean, Corum's got touchdowns this year, but neither one has looked anything like they did most of last season.
We don't hit explosive plays at all. It's like we just don't. Like there's passing game or running game. So it makes it really hard to continually matriculate your way down the field against good defenses. So I don't know. I have not bet Michigan in this game. I will say that. So
yeah, and I know we'll talk more about this game, but I see the pathway for force Milroe and a few turnovers. Yeah, okay, Michigan will win, but I stand by this. If Milroe plays a clean game for Alabama, they're winning the game. I stand by that. We'll see what happens. More on that on Monday. Grant in the chat. For what it's worth, I'm the Iowa State guy. Yep, remember that. You told us that they were going to crush Cincinnati earlier this season with a couple of them key guys back. I would take Iowa State in anything under 10 today. Well, I agree with that. Problem is it's 10.5. 10 is relatively key. Team is using this game as a springboard for next season. They're motivated and ready to go. I agree with that. That's a big reason why I bet Iowa State early in the bowl season. Numbers seem to matter every now and then. 10.5 is too expensive. And Campbell's not a guy that I like laying points with. I like betting Matt Campbell when expectations are low.
No, I'm with you there, and I agree. Grant, Iowa State was a favorite play of mine at numbers long ago, but at some point, you kind of the number has to matter there, and I think we've gotten to the point where it kind of crossed the threshold there.
Super chat came in courtesy of Terry Teo. Great show as always, he says. Thanks for the $5. That's going to Zach, hopefully, and not Pizza Man. Great show as always. Any thoughts on the Memphis Iowa State over? Yeah, I think the weather's going to be okay. I would lean over. Have you bet? I haven't bet it yet, but I would lean over. Iowa State changed up. You were good on that. Franchise, I think, gave you that tip on they changed up the offense. I think it's the Oklahoma State game.
Yeah.
A little bit more tempo, threw a little bit more. They've been better since then.
Yeah, I would lean that way too, Terry. And Terry actually, I'll give
Terry gets after you on Twitter. It looks
I saw he had the I was looking back to see it the Frank Harris info for me out of early that day before it was circulating around. So I give the Tequila Man credit there. Hopefully he's enjoying some Patron or 1800 or wherever he likes this New Year's. But I appreciate that info. And yeah, I would lean over there on this game. To be honest, I got to look and see. I did bet over. I don't remember what number it is, Terry. So I'm sorry. The Joey bookkeeping's laying it there. But as far as totals, that would probably be, to be honest with you, the only over that I'd really be interested in at the moment today.
Agree. Lean over there. Thanks again, Terry, for that super chat there. Grant in the chat. Iowa State versus Memphis. There you go. Yeah, he agrees. Yep, over. We just hit on that. And Memphis, obviously, I think Memphis can hit some plays. I like some of their skill position. Hennigan's okay at quarterback. Sports Profit TV, Clemson's best wide receiver opted out. I already had no receivers. Feels like both teams can stack the box today under 44. That's where the Marcus Dick said that's the right side. Have you bet the under there?
No, you know what? I didn't get in on the under there. It was one I just didn't want to chase. I mean, there were some early, 46s, 47s, and I don't think I just didn't get in on it, and then just kind of let it go there. So I agree. I probably agree. Like if you got 44 or better, I think you're in good shape there. Mostly, I think it's painted 43.5 now. So a little light for me in terms of wanting to play it now, but I tend to agree that was the right side.
Again, waiting on another 3 or 2 to show there. And then we'll best bet Clemson, guys, for those of you watching live there. Austin Hanson in the chat. Would you guys lean Clemson, Kentucky first half under 22.5? Yeah, why not? I'd lean that way.
Yeah, I would as well. Let me see what and if you got, I would.
Yeah, 22.5 looks like a good number. So I'm never going to discourage that.
Yeah, I don't think there's two. So if you've got that number available or you fired on it, you're sitting on a little CLV there. So yeah.
Connor in the chat, as a Florida State fan, I'm disappointed in how they're playing this. Took some early 14.5. I took some early 14. You want to talk about a bad number? I talk about all the good numbers I bet. Worst bet I made all bowl season by far. Thinking they go all out. Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, it's a very sad state of affairs when you have an undefeated conference champ with 20 straight wins in Florida State taking on the two-time defending national champ in Georgia. It's the Orange Bowl. And I got to tell you, I'm probably going to be watching more of the Arizona Bowl, Toledo, Wyoming game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's played at the same time. That's a sad state of affairs, man, for what's going on. Now, I will say this. Everyone's negative about the bowl games. A lot of these bowl games have been fine. I think the effort's been there. Whoever's at least decided to play in the games,
sure.
I'd rather, for the most part, played outside of maybe what Syracuse didn't show up. But,
yeah, Syracuse, Georgia
that,
Southern. I don't think. Yeah, like there's a couple game, but for the most, especially yesterday was some good ball. So I tend to agree with you there that it's actually been entertaining. And it's one of those that hey, nothing wrong with as long as they keep it. I understand the Florida State sentiment where you would have liked to see, but I think there's a little bit of school protests going on from the school and the playoff, just like, oh, you didn't let us
stop
in.
out of the game.
I would honestly, I think that would be a better option than doing this of going in and getting slaughtered by Georgia. Just say, you know what, if you didn't want us in the college football, we're opting out. So,
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. Or maybe pull them, kind of shank them last minute. The day of the game, be like, oh, we're flying home, Team 6. So so I don't know. I think that'd be a better look than losing by 50 to Georgia.
I agree. I totally agree with that. If I was the head coach, I think let the opt-outs and stuff happen. And then all of a sudden, hey, we didn't got enough available bodies. Flu came through the team. When we'd only have 20 scholarship players can't play. I don't know. That's just me. Kyle in this Estrada in the chat. Yeah, Florida State team total under 12.5 worth of play. Yeah, it's just not widely available. I like that one. Do you see him getting the 13, 14 points here? I don't.
I mean, they're just not the Brock Glenn guy. He's a running QB. The new receivers are all gone. The only way I'd see it is if, I don't know, it's a 30-point game in the second half and Georgia starts, parading out the walk-ons to get some snaps or something. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you get a first half team total under, see a touchdown or something like that. I mean, we're getting really into the old derivatives here, but yeah, I got no argument there.
I don't think it was a great look that USC's backup quarterback throws 6 touchdown passes against that Louisville defense. Florida State's offense, not good. And a lot of the guys that played in that game that gave them some at least decent efforts out. Zach, and before I get to the next comment, we got nearly 300 viewers right now, 80 likes. Let's get up to at least 100 likes. Can we do that for everybody watching live? Let's get to 100 likes from my main man, Zach, here as we enter in the new year. And do want to tell everybody that's been watching all year, thank you so much for the support. Austin in the chat, dumb brain thought, Ohio State can't win with their quarterback wearing number 33. They're gonna run them. It'll look a little goofy, I think. Knish is with you. He likes Missouri. I like.
Yeah, I think I'm not a Devin Brown guy. I'm just not. I know some people are, around. I think they were really happy to get, I think this is Kyle McCord's gone euphoria, but I didn't see in the spring. I didn't see it when he got in the game. I'm down to. I wouldn't go in next year with him as your quarterback if I'm running the program. So we'll see. Maybe he can prove me wrong today, and put a little egg on my face. So
Patrick in the chat, Iowa State quarterback over 211 passing.
Yeah,
I like that. Is that franchise approved?
Yeah, that is franchise approved. I was really trying to get in on that at some early. It was low 200s to start. Zach, pull that. See what's widely available on that Beck pass.
Liberty Bowl Iowa State quarterback Rocco Beck.
Yep. So see what's 211.5. And DK's
got take some money from them assholes at ESPN.
So yeah, get in on. I'm actually going to join you on a little bit more. Add a little bit more there at that price. So. Yeah,
best
I like
bet?
that.
You want to best bet that? I see that.
Yeah, throw that in the best bet chamber there, Zach. I didn't think because I was looking around to add to that today, and lost a Miles Bridges cost me a couple of accounts. So it didn't have it's the same amount of
Were you able to get down decent on that?
decent, not as much as I would have liked to, but was able to get down okay. I mean, it's all perspective based, but yeah, I lost a couple due to that. So but yeah, 211.5. I like that. I think played 205 or something like that, but I just added more 211 myself. So yeah, there you go.
Andrew in the chat, bet a bad number early with Missouri. Advice, what's the number? How bad is it? Is it Missouri favored? Because, I mean, I could see that's really bad, but hit us back up in the chat. What do you recommend? When you take a bad number, I usually just eat it. I don't know.
I would agree. I mean, if you're going to watch the game live, then, and if you want to trade out of it, see how it plays out. Maybe you get some, trade or see how the game's going in that. But yeah, you're going to take some bad. I mean, I agree with you. Like, you're going to take some bad numbers or get, quarterback injury against you or something like that. So yeah, I usually just, same thing. Eat it. Maybe I'll try and get out of it live if I'm available, if I want to. But for the most part, just you're going to have a couple of those. So,
and look, bad bets sometimes can win. I mean, how many times do we have great bets and they lose?
Right.
I mean,
right.
as far as getting the best of numbers. So it doesn't seem like percentage wise it works out. Like, I mean, I seem to bet zero whenever I take a bad number, but but yeah, they sometimes can win. So yeah, I agree with Knish there. If you're going to watch it, and it's obviously the only game on tonight, it's a big game. You might be able to play something back similar, betting it live. Connor in the chat, Mr. Muscles is on. Oh, look at that. The power of this community. Rocco Becca already up to 218. Love it. 218.5 now. Like it. Mr. Muscles is on Ohio State. Ooh, that might concern me, but I have good numbers on the Buckeyes. If there's a gambling god, I am owed a lot. I have plus numbers next to Ohio State. So if I don't win tonight, then it would just sum up my season.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I remember I lightened my position on Missouri substantially when we had talked about I think a week, 10 days ago now that there was some 24/7 insider people saying Ohio State was going to play most of them. So I don't have the same position on Missouri.
What's your middle? You got like 9.5 Missouri.
Yeah, I got.
And then you got what? Plus
Ohio
3
State
Ohio State.
If Ohio State could win this game by 3 points or so, Joey K might, be going into the new year with some new jewelry. New. I might come on, next show with a chain. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, in a good position on that one, but hopefully, got to cash it. So yeah, a little Joey Ice, baby. Maybe I'll get a HTB logo on.
There you go. Hit the books turnover chain. That'd be nice. Kyle Hagan in the chat. Knish, would you still like to look at headlines for Washington, Texas in the national title
game? I talked about this on YBYB the other day. I want to get your concurrence here. Yeah. I like Washington or Texas in any of the look ads. There's Texas +3 versus Michigan, and I think a +2.5 or a +3 versus Bama, and then a Washington +7 versus Michigan and a +6, 6.5 versus Bama. I like the points in either of those games. So, and I played.
Yeah,
I literally, and I'm not talking about huge money, but I played all 4 hypotheticals. So there,
I don't disagree.
I played Texas against both teams and played Washington against both teams. So, nothing crazy, but I would say my favorite probably like Texas +3 or better versus Michigan. I think there's some even 3.5 at some places. So yeah,
that agree with that too. Yeah, that would be my favorite of the bunch. Yeah, I mean, the good positive about this year's playoffs is I wouldn't be stunned if any of the 4 won it. I mean, I would be surprised if Washington won the title, but I mean, I wouldn't be absolutely stunned. I think,
sure.
All 4 are pretty live here. So that's good. Not been able to say that much at all during the 10 years of the playoffs so far. So that's at least a positive. Grant in the chat, I get taking Oregon State at bigger numbers, but at 6 or under, I think ND is a buy. They have better depth in coaching. I will say the coaching, I don't know if it's gotten enough play. Oregon State only had 3 assistants stay on. They had to hire a bunch of grad assistants and analysts. Worries me a little bit. But Notre Dame did have a lot of opt-outs. I will say advantage for Oregon State. Branson's got plenty of starts of experience under his belt. I also think the Notre Dame tackle position on offense is not good against Oregon State's defensive edge. And I don't know. Whenever I'm positive on Notre Dame, it goes negative. Whenever I'm negative, it goes positive. So I'd ask Knish on that. I don't know anything about Notre Dame.
Yeah, you know what? It's one that obviously a ton on both teams. I just thought I would need a little cheaper to want to get in on Notre Dame here.
Total. I mean, you want to be on the take its
Right,
lowest total.
right.
I mean, give me points. Blake in the chat, do we know how good the backups are for the 6 Clemson defensive opt-outs? 6? I didn't have that many.
Yeah, I didn't have that many either.
Who are the 6? I mean, 6 starters or just 6 guys? I mean, let me go through the guys that I have as far as the opt-outs. Obviously, the most important one is going to be Trotter at linebacker. That's 1. Wiggins, that's 2. Defensive lineman, Arroyo or whatever. That's 3.
Sure.
Makuba's 4. Who else then? Sheridan Jones, maybe. That's 5. I guess I'm at 5. Barrett Carter's going to play. Clemson has recruited better on defense than they have on offense. They do rotate some guys. Obviously, I'll say this. I played Kentucky at 9. I think there's been an overreaction. I don't think it's been the downgrade in the market is more than what I downgraded it. I'll just put it that simple.
Yeah, I again, some of these like the way that Clemson's recruited, I think sometimes the opt-outs on the teams that recruit elite just don't matter as much, to put it.
And plus, I don't like Kentucky that much.
I
mean, that's mainly part of this. I mean, I'm not a huge Kentucky guy.
Yep. So, yeah, I agree. And this was one we were waiting on. And just the number that we were looking for came up. So,
yep.
Go ahead, Zach, if you want to lock it in at the 3 there. We got a couple of 3s.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's some plus 3. So, yeah, go ahead and fire on the penny lean.
There we go. Clemson, -3. A little bit extra juice. Guy asked in the chat, morning, guys. I know not to tease college games, but I'm leaning towards Bama +7.5 or +8 with an NFL game. Yeah, I
don't hate it. Yeah, we talked about.
I don't hate it.
Like, I agree. You know what? So I don't mind it at all. So,
I might actually do it. Now, what NFL game? Probably, a long teaser in the NFL, maybe the Saints or something like that.
Yeah, there's a few.
Falcons just took some money. Falcons against the Bears, maybe. Yeah, I'm not against it. All right, that'd be the one I would play. That or Army Navy totals. That teasing those games. Aaron in the chat, what number would you guys need to go over in the Notre Dame Oregon State game? I mean, it would have to be like 36.5. There's so many opt-outs, and I think both defenses have a significant edges on the opponent's offenses. So, no, I need 36.5 to go over.
Neither offense has any juice left. Like anybody that can make an explosive play.
Well, I will say Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love. I'll give you a couple. Jeremiah Love today, Faison, and Jaden Thomas. There's 3 guys to keep an eye out. Those 3 guys.
All right.
Marcus is recruited well. So I'm a little concerned with our Oregon State bet. And you know me, I'm Mr. Negativity with Notre Dame football. ESPN bet has an odds boost for Ohio State money line and game total over 41.5 +115. Oregon State, I guess, money line. What is that? Ohio State?
I think Ohio State money line and the over 41.5 to 115.
You deal with these. I'm still in old school Vegas where we're not boosting shit all the time. I mean, a lot of those boosts are very, horrible, had horrific prices, right?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, this one now, like the money line for Ohio State's gotten out to 200, 220. And so I think that actually,
you like that one?
I mean, I'd have to pop it in the old the calculator. Joey K doesn't do too many of these with the old ticker there. He uses modern technology to pop these out. So I actually think there's a little bit of EV on that one. But again, I don't I don't get. I mean, the odds boost usually you can't bet much on, or my account can't bet them, so I don't usually pay attention to them. But yeah, if you can actually, we teach you to fish here. Pop the Oregon State money line and the alt line, whatever that 41.5 is, into like an odds calculator and see what it spits out. And if it's less than the 115 there, then take the 115. So yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I do when I'm looking to do that stuff. So
all right. Hey, how's I don't have ESPN bet here. How's it been treating you?
They have a lot of offerings. It's definitely a better software than Canby. I wouldn't say the limits are particularly but I mean, it's definitely, if you have a limited ESPN versus a limited Canby, ESPN still lets you bet a little bit. So and I said the interface and the offerings are much, much better. So yeah, it's decent.
All right. Thank you. Grant, is Will Howard going to go to Ohio State now? I think so. Would I spend the money on Will Howard? I wouldn't. I don't think he's worth it. You think he's worth it for the Buckeyes just to have a guy with experience, though? I think there'll be somebody to pop up post spring.
You know what? I just went on a big Devin Brown rant, but I don't know if Will Howard's the guy.
Way better than Devin Brown?
Right. Like, am I getting a significant upgrade there?
How about ask us on the Monday show? Because, I mean, Devin Brown goes out there and plays well. They win the Cotton Bowl. They cover. I'm not taking Will Howard. Forget it. I'll get somebody after the spring.
Yeah, I tend to agree because I'm sure he's looking for quite the bag too. So yeah, that's a great point. Let's see how Brown looks today.
Yeah, he throws 3 picks and he looks terrible. Okay, spend the money then to get somebody in here. I think I hate to overreact to one game, but it is the game for Devin Brown tonight. William in the chat, is there any truth to the rumor that Lane Kiffin has purchased Jimbo Fisher in the portal as his Twitter handle? That's funny.
Ole Miss, we talked about on Monday. I don't know I don't know which booster, if they got they're spending. They are spending money, big money that I did not think they were capable of. So, yeah, they're going to be. Now, do I think that they're a threat to do anything? Listen, we've talked about it on the show a few times. I had this conversation with you. Lane he's just not a serious enough coach to win national titles. Like, is he going to go into a playoff game and then beat 3 of the premium teams in the country? No, he's just they can again. It's like the best Ole Miss has been in X amount of years, since the third. But so good but in terms of winning SEC championships and national titles, I just don't think he's a good enough coach to do that. Do you look at
they'll be good enough to make the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game, but I'm not going to be running the window because there'll be a popular national, futures play. I'm not doing it.
So FanDuel, I don't know if you saw, put up the 24-25.
Did prices. They already? Who's the favorite?
Bama. Let's play a little guess. Who do you think's the favorite, and what do you think the price is?
Oh my God, Georgia 5-1.
What, man? This folks, the man knows it's Georgia plus 480. Right. So we'll round up there 5-1 there. What do you think Ole Miss is?
Ole
and
Miss,
what would you need
25-1?
26-1.
I didn't look at these. I swear. No,
I'm giving it to you. And I would need about 260 to bet that.
Yeah.
There was, and granted, there's a lot of baked in holds here. And
what book is this?
This is FanDuel.
Okay.
For first one national title odds I've seen. And just as we said, you just got to look at it a lot differently than you have for the last 15 years of now.
Yeah, 12. I don't know. Have you thought about how you're going to handle that? I haven't even yet. I think how I'd handle it is, man, I'm not going to take a flyer like I would on a Washington type or an Ole Miss type. I mean, I would stick to my guns on the teams that have the best depth: Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. I don't know if these teams are ready to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row against the elite of college football.
No, I tend to agree. And, national title wasn't even for the last, it wasn't a market that I'd usually get too involved. You might take a chalk team for a price, but it wasn't one of those where there was, where there was ever really too much value. So
Agree. Conference futures, Heisman has been my wheelhouse as far as futures. How about Joey props? You got any other? We gave out Rocco Beck, which I like.
Beck. I'll give you the two others we played this morning.
Okay.
We just played for Missouri, Brady Cook over 16.5 completions on complete. I don't know if that's on. That was on ESPN Bet as well. Yeah, and that was the only one I had it. So if you've got the access to that, the over 16.5 completions there. And the other one was Carnell Tate for Ohio State, over receiving yardage. Let's see, Zach, same game, Zach. Carnell Tate receiving yardage. That one took off a little bit this morning. 44.5 still good, not 53.5. So if you've got 44.5 there, at the couple of, I think that's Camby's. There's a couple other places that had it okay with him at 44.5. Don't play 53.5.
There you go. Joey props.
So there we go. We got a little bit going this morning.
I like it. It 9085. Is this just Ohio State's team from people thinking Harrison's playing? No, it's pretty much just everybody other than Harrison's playing for the Buckeyes.
Right. So, yeah. It's all the other people. I don't think Harrison and Hall were the only two that I think were not going today.
Yeah, that's the last I saw too.
Yeah.
Which, keep in mind, the expectation was about 8 or 10 more guys were expected.
For sure. When we were talking early bowl season that Missouri was, going to end up, it was that, as you said, we thought there'd be 10 guys sitting out of this game, and 80% of them are playing. So there you go. That's why Ohio State now.
Daryl in the chat, what was the Miles Bridges bet? That he was going to play for start because he has a consecutive start streak going.
Yeah, he had an Ironman streak going, but they rested him after the first quarter. So he played the full first quarter and not the rest of the game, but his stuff was lined like he was playing the full game. So but it was
correlated parlays.
Yeah, you could do some of the SGPs against it and stuff, but it did not it didn't last.
Word got out, right?
Yeah. Word got out quick. Thanks to some people, and so wasn't again. And you know what? If you're able to get down some, I don't want to be too much of a hater on that, but it was just one of those that when you have that kind of those opportunities don't come along very often. So you usually got to try and take advantage of them to the max.
Charles in the chat. This might be wrapping it up here. I loved your tweet, Brad, about how many games would USC win with Miller Moss. I mean, obviously it was a little bit tongue in cheek, or was it? I mean, I thought Caleb in some aspects hurt USC this year. I mean, that playground shit, hero ball constantly. Yeah. I mean, he really did hurt him. I mean, Lincoln Riley's a lot of things, but he still can coach offense and design a game plan. And you play in the confines of that offense. Miller Moss can come in his first start, throw 6 touchdown passes. Boom, bang, they look like clockwork. They work the clock to help out the defense. It still stinks. I don't know. I mean, Williams did not do it for me. And I'm going to be honest with you, Caleb Williams doesn't do it for me as the slam dunk generational talent, #1 overall pick. If I'm drafting and I want a future Hall of Famer, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Joe All.
I tell you, I agree. You kind of saw how much talent that USC had, and that was with even some guys playing. That was just kind of Miller Moss sitting back there and executing the game plan. So it was kind of as you said, he was trying to do all this hero ball off script, and I don't know. I tend to think that he might have hurt them in some aspects, especially in some games, more than helped, because they had they weren't short on weapons. Their offensive line was okay. They got Lincoln Riley, a legendary play caller. Something was wrong with the brew there. And I'll say, there's some birds. This will be a little in the weeds. I'm not convinced he's going #1 overall. I'll say that.
Love it. I said that in this show, I think. And everyone called me a freaking hater. I mean, I'm not sure. That was during the season. It was in September.
Yeah. And
so I remember that. And if somebody's watching right now, you know who you are that was giving me shit in the comments on that. And couldn't believe. I did not like the look at him all season, man. Was not dialed in. Notre Dame game, he was horrific. Oh, my God. Lauren in the chat, is Tua playing for Maryland? No, he's never played for Maryland. Talia played for Maryland. I joke, I kid. We give everyone a hard time here. No, he's not playing. The backup will be there. I don't mind the backup. Billy Edwards, decent quarterback. Players and stuff. I mean, I've watched spring games. I'm a loser, so I think the team will rally a little bit. I'm not saying to bet Maryland, but you and I like the over in that game.
Agreed. And as you said, like that's probably one of the favorite, especially total plays left.
Your boy Tent's moving.
Yeah, I just saw.
So Memphis, Iowa State went up to 59. That took over money.
Yeah,
Kentucky just went over.
Seemed as we were on the show, and he just played Clemson, Kentucky over there. So,
all right, fair enough. He did not play Memphis, Iowa State over. I do want to say, not that I want to give out his plays, but I mentioned 59. We were just looking at that game as 57 and a half. All right, here we go. Do we have anything else here? Any closing thoughts before we get to today's kickoff? I guess we can recap best bets. Before we get to that, do you have anything that you want to get off your chest?
You got any early lean on the FCS title, Montana, South Dakota State?
No one's gonna believe this, but I made it 12 and a half. Pure power rating, 12 and a half.
That's right.
I told you. Remember, you asked me.
Bro,
I said take the 14 and a half, and that was it at DraftKings. Yeah. Other than that, I got nothing.
I joined you on some early, when it was 14 and a half. But yeah, I tend to agree. I think the 12 and a half, it's like it's tough.
They're legit. They deserve to be that big of a favorite. I mean,
yeah.
They killed Albany. I couldn't believe how bad they murdered them. Montana, I think, is a little overrated. Fortunate to be here. Back-to-back overtime wins at home and a great atmosphere. I think they get exposed a little bit. Over for FCS is what Charles is saying. Yeah, I got to wait for the weather. Keep in mind, that's next week, that game. That's not till the 7th. That's next Sunday. I can't believe they're playing that freaking game on a Sunday.
I know.
Unbelievably stupid.
I know.
Play it on a Saturday. Saturday afternoon. I don't understand it. All right, let's recap best bets. We gave out Clemson -3 with a little extra juice there on today's show. Joey Props gave out Rocco Beck passing yards over 211.5. We got that. Oregon State was from probably a week plus ago as far as that one. Auburn, Maryland, we still have left in the chamber. Wyoming money line, LSU -7. That looks good there. That's going to pretty much do it unless you have anything else, man.
No, I think, hopefully, can keep it rolling here with the bowl season. Got some more good numbers in the portfolio, and let's keep it going.
All right, we will talk to you guys on Monday. Special time again, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Want to wish each and every one of you out there a very happy and safe New Year. Thank you for all the listeners, the support of the show, hitting the likes and subscribe buttons. I really appreciate you guys, and I know Knish does as well. For the man, the myth, the legend himself, Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips. I'm Brad Powers. You just watched Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network.